Deadlock, Valve's newest shooter, has become pretty successful, even reaching over 100,000 players at one point, and that's despite the fact that it's still in early access. However, that still hasn't stopped players from trying to cheat.
They're curving! She's just pulling a wanted.
So determined to not let Deadlock become the next Team Fortress 2, Valve has created an anti-cheat dev team that has already started combating hackers. When the game detects that someone is cheating, opposing team members can choose to either ban the cheater and end the match immediately, or turn the cheater into a defenseless frog for the entire match, and then ban them afterwards.
If you're worried about frogs affecting your game stats, don't be. Any match that has a frog player doesn't count for anything other than fun time. As much fun as you can have playing a MOBA at least.
Welcome to Necro News, the show where we cover the hottest gaming news from the last week. This week we've got Valve collecting usual wins, Grammys retiring, and tons of games that were announced at all these conferences. Plus, of course, a lot more.
So like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss anything.
The 88-year-old legend Shirley Curry, or better known as the Skyrim Grandma, has announced her retirement from making content, much to the dismay of many. According to her retirement video, she's burnt out from content creation. Relatable.
In her video, she states, "I walk in here, look at my computer, and think I've got to make a video today. And then I just shake my head to myself and say, I don't want to, I have no desire to, and I walk back out." That's actually pretty sad.
Fans of Skyrim Grandma, though, don't need to be too upset. She's not gone for good. She'll be periodically uploading vlogs, sharing books she's reading, just your general comfy grandma stuff. According to Dogmeat, she's been trying to work on a quilt for some time now, and with content creation out of the way, she'll finally have time to work on it. So that's cute.
What's up, dog?
Hi. I've been a fan of Shirley since I was a baby pup, and now with her retirement, there will be a big empty void for RP-style Skyrim content. While she encourages her fans to go back and rewatch her old videos, I figure that many people will want fresh new content. So, I went ahead and scoped out some up-and-coming channels that I think will scratch your itch for fun Skyrim roleplay. First up, we have Skyrim AERP from DCR80 Gaming. DCR runs a very charming, lore-rich modded RP series. It follows his Nord character that returns to Skyrim after fighting the Empire. I love watching this series. It's got the narrative tone that Shirley had in her videos, super low-key, nice to put on as background noise while you're working and stuff. The other recommendation I have for y'all is The Adventures of Kronkars by Fizzbase. This one is much lighter in tone. It's a silly Oblivion RP that has insane production value.
One day, a terrible storm came in and destroyed my house. My family survived, but they broke all their arms and legs.
Fizzbase edits amazing cutscenes that flow right into gameplay, high-quality character voiceovers, and even better, orcs, baby. It's insane to me that these videos don't have more views despite the amount of effort that's put into them, so go freaking watch them!
No one said you could be out here. Get back in your art box.
No! No! Not the box! Ah!
If you like emulators, then you know what Duckstation is. If you don't, well, it was a free open source emulator for the PS1, and it was pretty much the best PSX emulator out there. And it's super popular because of how easy it is to use.
Keyword was, the dev decided to change the software license from a GPL open source into a proprietary one. And what does this mean for gamers? Not a whole lot as of right now. Duckstation is still free. But do you guys remember Yuzu? And how Nintendo sued Yuzu because they were asking for money? This opens Duckstation up to some legal discourse with Sony.
So why did the dev take the risk? Well, simply put, the catch to an open source license is that forks and source codes can be used freely. You don't have any control over matters unless it goes specifically against your license terms. And the company Arcade1Up took heavy advantage of this license and used it for their Simpsons bowling arcade cabinet. Hey, actually, Skull, you are an arcade rat. What do you know about this company?
They make flat-pack miniature arcade cabinets that you yourself can make for probably a couple hundred bones at most, including the art prints on the sides, and charge 2 to 3 times the price because they're official. They're a ripoff, and the company seems sketchy as hell. Stay the fuck away.
I think you're being a bit paranoid. Anyway, Arcade1Up did do something scummy with Duckstation though. In the original arcade cabinet, Simpsons Bowling used boards that were similar in design to the PlayStation. This is why A1U used the emulator, but they made tons of improvements to the emulator in order to get the game to work, and kept them solely for themselves.
Duckstation's GPL required any forks or derivatives made with its code to be released upon request, including the means in which to build the code, and the ability to load alternatives onto the device. A1U said no, and only released a partial amount of code with no means to build it. And that was only after they got significant backlash on Twitter. And because of that, Duckstation is now under a Creative Commons license that restricts the creation of derivatives and does not allow for any commercialization of the software. This is a reactionary response from Fntastic, which is understandable, but now the future of the emulator is uncertain, which sucks for Retrobat.
Well, that, and there is a few other problems. One, he didn't consult any of the other code authors who contributed code to Duckstation when he changed the license, which is against the GPL. And two, any new versions of Duckstation can't be forked, or at least legally.
So if Fntastic dies suddenly, anyone who wants to work on Duckstation legally has to use the last version made under GPL. So there probably won't be any big improvements or changes for some time. Though Fntastic did say that he would return Duckstation to an open source license when he's done working on it, but considering he's changed his mind before, and suddenly, we can only wait and see.
A rare win for California last week, as Governor Gavin Newsom has signed a bill that makes it a little bit harder for gaming companies to fuck over unsuspecting buyers.
More specifically, the bill targets language used to sell digital goods, whether that's ebooks, music, games, whatever. From now on, companies can no longer use, quote, buy, purchase, or any other term which a reasonable person would understand to confer an unrestricted ownership interest in the digital good or alongside an option for time-limited rental. I hate legalese, Jesus.
And that is a win for digital rights. It's almost like Ubisoft fixed digital gaming by being absolute dog shit with the crew. But anyway, enough about companies that suck, because Valve is in the news again. On Thursday, if you were a Steam user, you got this notice. And there is no might have or probably, you got it. It flashed in your face and it didn't matter where you were playing. Booster even got it on a Steam Deck.
It's true, I did. I even died in Kinitsugami because of it. Anyway, because of the way the world is, I immediately thought that Valve was doing their heel turn, as did many others. So I did what I never do, and I actually read the terms of service. And you want to know what I found out?
What did you find out, Booster?
I found out that Valve, instead of adding some bullshit arbitration clause, instead removed the arbitration clause in their Steam agreement, meaning that you are now able to take Valve to court in the case that they fuck up something, which is absolutely absurd, and hell must have frozen over.
I feel like this is in part because of the whole Disney lawsuit thing.
Oh, maybe so, yeah. I didn't even think about that.
To the wardrobe department, grabbed a new, freshly laundered costume, and headed to the big battle. He was late because he had to read every page of the terms and conditions for Disney Plus.
Oh, look, it's the consequences of your own actions.
Yep, remember Fntastic, the company behind the absolute garbage MMO the day before? Well, they're back and they want it to be everyone's problem, and that's not really a joke.
On Thursday, the Fntastic Twitter surprisingly resurfaced, stating that they've opened a Kickstarter hoping to fund their new Escape Factory game. According to them, the Kickstarter is also the only way that they can attempt to make a comeback.
Many people have considered this to be a scam, but we're not quite sure yet. After looking through their website, it's quite obvious that they're at least seemingly serious about fixing their reputation. They've acknowledged their mistakes from the day before, and hope to make amends with everyone by promising that honesty, transparency, and their community are now their highest priorities.
Interestingly, Eduard and Eisen Gotastev, the founding brothers of the company, are nowhere to be seen on the site, not even in the About Us section, which goes over the history of their company. Which leads me to wonder what's happened over there since, according to Fntastic, they are now smaller, but it still consists of the same people who created all of our previous games. That sounds like nonsense, but okay, I'll buy it.
As of recording, the Kickstarter has actually managed to raise just shy of their goal, with 26 days left to go. So who knows if this is a scam or not, but if you feel like gambling, I guess this is
Hold up, something weird has happened. They were at 9K on Kickstarter on Friday, and today, Sunday, they are down to 2K. Interesting. Make of it what you will. Okay, back to the video. For what, the third time? Blizzard has announced they are attempting to make a Starcraft shooter.
Hell, it's about time.
At least, according to Lollyman Jason Schreier, which is fine and everything, but really, they canceled 2 attempts. Why are they trying a 3rd time?
Because of the success of Concord, obviously. Anyway, the game is being developed by the remnants of the team that were working on Blizzard's untitled survival game, which was cancelled when Microsoft bought them.
That's actually all we have for this particular story, but let us know what you guys think about it. Do you think it'll be worth anything at all? I don't personally know or really care, but a lesser known fact is that Warcraft was originally going to be a Warhammer game before it got turned into its own thing.
That's not that surprising. But with everyone loving Space Marine 2, maybe Blizzard will give a little bit more attention to the game unlike their previous attempts.
There were a lot of game announcements this week, since the Tokyo Game Show, Convergence Show, and Sony's State of Play all happened this week.
There are so many games, in fact, that there is no way that we'd be able to talk about every single one of them, so we picked out a few that stood out to us.
So Venus Vacation Prism won't be available in America, of course, but if you want it, you can get an Asian English release. It's DOA, and bikinis, and it's a dating sim, and I'm gonna buy it.
Isla is a first-person horror game set in the near future, where you're a tester for a cutting-edge AI. Literally. There's eye cutting, finger cutting, wound penetration. This game is apparently made specifically to make people uncomfortable. Can you tell how impressed I am?
The fate of this world was preordained in an instant.
So it's Soul Reaver 1 and 2, but it's a remaster. I'm actually excited and will buy it day 1.
An aesthetically interesting claymation game that has similar vibes to Little Nightmares. It interests me, but it also looks kinda scary, so I might make Booster play it.
Voin. It's called Voin. I thought it was Vane at first, but it's Voin. Anyway, it's a really stylish looking first-person hack and slash that appeals to the fast nature of my inner child, and also reminds me of Breakdown. No one here but me knows what Breakdown is.
If YouTube has pushed van life content into your algo like it has with me, you may have considered at some point that you'd want to try it out yourself. Van life makes that possible without shelling out tons of money and getting rid of all your stuff, with the aesthetic and cozy vibe similar to Unpacked.
The way of the samurai is found in death.
The final game we wanted to highlight is called Falling Limbs, and is one that Ellie actually caught. It's a fighting game that reminds me a lot of like Quap or something. Look, it doesn't matter, it's a samurai ragdoll fighter, and that sounds fun. Here are the games coming out this week. Surprisingly, the Until Dawn remake is still happening.
And here's our streaming schedule for this week. We'll be doing our first ever Necro News staff collab on Wednesday, where the staff and friends will be playing Dale and Dawson. Other than that, I'll be playing more Lies of P, and Booster will be continuing System Shock.
And that's it for this week's Necro News. If you like what we do here and want to stay up to date, be sure to subscribe to the channel.
And if you made it all the way to the end of the video, tell us what game stuck out to you on all the conferences you've watched.
And of course, a very special thank you to these lovely people. Thank you all so much for supporting the channel, and if you'd like to become a member, just do that thing down there, like right there. Yeah, there.
What do they get if they become a member, Booster?
I'm glad you asked. You get access to member-only videos and blooper reels, one of which will be coming up very shortly, and member-exclusive emotes.
And you get a nifty badge next to your name.
Gotta love that nifty badge. Anyway, that's all we have this time, so until next time,
Goodbye.
Goodbye.